Hey folks, welcome back to SC Hollers. I am Saxa Wine, and today we are going over the salvaging balance that they mentioned in the patch notes for 4.2.1. Now, the Fortune and the Vulture, they got an efficiency buff, so you can check out my previous video on the 4.2 Vulture and Fortune. There's not much more you can get out of it, so I'm going to strictly cover the Reclaimer because there have been some cosmetic changes internally and externally from the ship, as well as the efficiency nerf. So I want to see where the Reclaimer is at, and I want to show you what I found. Let's get into this haul. Okay, so first we're going to take a look at the Aegis Reclaimer. And they've done some visual changes to the Reclaimer internally that I wanted to take a look at. And we're going to call... Oh, look at this. There's a button to call the elevator. I don't remember that being there. I remember always having to like jump up and click the door up there. But it looks like there is a button now for the elevator right where this light's at. And I don't remember this light being here except after you called the elevator. So I'll have to take a look at that. Look at my records and see if it's there. But I think that's new, which is nice. It's not like it was hard to find where the door was at, but it's nice that the button's down here now. I don't think anything's changed in here. There's your salvage seats. Yeah, I think the only big change was in the salvage processing. So we're going to go ahead and skip over to salvage processing. If I see anything on the way, I'll be sure to stop the video. And hey, look at that. It's so clean. All the chains are gone. So now you can just stack cargo super high. Oh. So the chains are gone, but it looks like the little crane thing is still there. So you will have, if you go all the way to the roof, you won't be able to stack all the way up because this piece will still be here. But the chains that hang down from those hooks, they are gone. Very nice. I wonder if they changed this door. Nope, it's still the same. Okay. Okay, so the big thing with the Reclaimer is the efficiency was reduced from 0.85 to 0.55. It's a 35% decrease. But they didn't change anything else. So the diameter is still quite large from what they changed it to in 4.2. The speed is still quite... all the heads have had a speed increase on the Reclaimer. It's just the efficiency was dropped. And so now the Reclaimer has moved into a state of not necessarily efficiency, but volume. So you're going to want to use the Reclaimer specifically for getting large capital ships, which is what it was intended for anyways. I'm fairly certain nobody else used it for smaller ships regardless, but this thing is built for volume. And I think that's what they are attempting to balance it for. Which means so far, I can't complain. That should be good. So on both my salvage heads, what I have here is a Araid and Trawler combination. We're going to give both a shot, see what they look like. we'll go from there. Okay, so the Trawler. This thing got a huge diameter increase. And you can see this thing is huge, but it is so slow when it comes to actually scraping the hull. But I think because of how big that diameter is, the speed isn't going to matter. I think this is going to be pretty fast. That also being said, it's not as efficient as the Araid or the Cinch, so you're going to be losing out on quite a bit of RMC. Okay, so we're going to switch over to the Araid now. You can see how much of an area that whole thing covers. So using the trawlers on like an Idris would be ideal if you're just trying to get through it quickly, get in and out. That would be a scenario like you're at the PAF and you notice there's an abandoned Idris there, but it's a very big hotspot. You don't want to be there for very long. So this is the Araid, and we'll go to a flat area. And you can see that diameter is still quite large. 7.63 diameter, 1.49 speed, and a 0.49 efficiency. So that is a huge increase in efficiency from the Trawler already. And again, just so you have a side-by-side comparison, that is the size of the Trawler. But we are at a 0.5 speed, a 0.33 efficiency. So you are losing RMC by scraping with the Trawler. So I think CIG did a really good job with this balancing. It's one of those weird things where the Trawler can be your fastest head, even though it's technically the slowest because of the amount of surface area it covers. But if you use the Cinch, you're going to have almost 3 times the amount of RMC while you're salvaging. And you can see already, like with the Araid, we did this little area here and this area here, and then scraped a little bit here. And we're already up 3 SCU just from that little bit. With the Trawler, we scraped majority of all of this and only got 4 SCU. You can see the difference already. We're just going to keep scraping this. It should go fairly quickly. You can see how quickly I'm moving the baler head, by the way, compared to the Trawler. It is so much faster, so much more efficient. The reason I didn't equip a Cinch on here is because the diameter of the Cinch is so small that the speed on it just doesn't make sense. Also, I think the baler head just doesn't move fast enough. Like the overall speed, like you can see me moving left to right here. The overall speed of the baler head, like the max speed that it moves, I don't think it will match with what the speed of the Cinch head is. And so the Cinch just moves so quickly right now. But the baler head itself doesn't move fast enough to actually make it worth it. Okay, so after editing the video, I realized I should probably show you the Cinch anyways. So here's old footage from 4.2, and you can see how small the diameter is for the Cinch. And you can see I have the arrow for the crosshair just maxed out, and the Cinch is just eating through all that stuff. And as I get farther away, it seems like the Cinch is being a little less efficient. But initially, as I was in that front area, the baler head was not able to keep up with how much the Cinch was actually salvaging, which is it's an issue. The other point I want to bring up is the Cinch has a 0.55 efficiency, and the Araid, if you round it up, is a 0.50. The difference between the efficiency is not enough to warrant you to actually use the Cinch. I would like to see that cinch be pushed up to like 0.65 or 0.7, and that would be perfect and make it a situational use type thing. So the 38 RMC is about average of what I was getting per hammerhead on the Reclaimer previous to the 4.2 changes. It would just take forever to get it, and so that's why nobody was doing it. So overall, I think this was a good thing that they updated the diameter speed of the Reclaimer. I do wish that the efficiency was just slightly higher, but to each their own. This overall is still a huge improvement to what the Reclaimer was. Now I feel like even at 40 SCU, I could spend like an hour out here and still make a decent amount of money. So that being said, next thing we're going to do is, if you're doing hammerhead missions, how long will it take to do an entire hammerhead with Abraids and then another one with Trawlers? And how much RMC will you get from doing it 100% of those with each type of salvage head? Wow, that goes quick now. Holy cow. Look how quickly that claw comes out now. That thing used to be super slow. Oh my gosh, that's a welcome change they didn't tell us about. Okay, so this timer is just for the salvage head. That is all it's for. This doesn't include travel time. This doesn't include time for you to set up your ship. It's just going to be salvage time. So I am set up. I am ready to salvage this hammerhead. And we are not going to pause for rotating around the ship. It is just going to be salvage and then, or gather RMC and then switch to the other side, gather the RMC from the other side. Mission finished. Okay, so just under 10 minutes to do this whole thing with the trawlers. Okay, so that last mission took just under 10 minutes with the trawlers. And next stop, we are going to do another hammerhead with the Abraids and give a different time run. Okay, here we go. So started test number 2 with the Abraids. Okay, so with the trawlers, we ended up with just under 10 minutes of completion on the hammerhead. And on the Abraids, we got both sides, but it didn't hit the actual sides of the hammerhead as much as the trawlers did. So we didn't fully complete the mission, but we did get 100% RMC on both sides of the hammerhead. So I'm going to call it a win. And that was just under 13 minutes, so 12 minutes 43 seconds. Now, this is going to be the real deal breaker for some of you. And the reality is, we started with the trawlers at 38.3. We started with 38.3 capacity in our depot. So, and we ended with 66.2. So 66.2 minus, I'm pressing buttons. 66.2 minus 38.3 equals 27.9 RMC. 27.9, which would round up to 28 SCU of RMC from the trawlers. Now, we had 66.2 And we are now at 110.5 minus 66.2, and that would be 44.3. So we're getting, with the Abraids, we're getting about 13 more RMC than we would with the Trawlers. And if you're doing a bigger ship, then you're going to see more returns using the Abraids than the Trawlers. And obviously, if you're using the Cinch, it is going to be significantly slower, but overall you are going to probably get twice, if not more. Well, actually, the Trawler, let's look at these heads real quick. And I'm going to pull up SP Viewer for us. And currently in 421, we have the Cinch, Abraid, and Trawler on the Reclaimer. And the Cinch has a 0.55 efficiency, the Abraid a 0.5, and the Trawler a 0.33. And so you're not going to see much more efficiency on the Cinch. You're going to have a super small. The Cinch, it currently has what the Abraid diameter used to be. And so you're going to have a much smaller radius. And this speed, this 6, doesn't make up for the fact that this efficiency is only 0.5 above the Abraid. And the unfortunate part about that is I don't think that and I said it before, the movement speed of the actual Baler head on the Reclaimer is not fast enough to keep up with the speed of the Cinch. So that's going to be it for the Reclaimer. Let me know what you thought about the changes that they made, how you feel about the salvage rebalance, and leave those in the comments down below. I would appreciate your comments and being able to respond. I love being able to help people. That being said, if you found this video useful, please be sure to hit that like button. If you like this type of content, leave a subscribe. And if you really want to know anything about industry changes, just hit that notification bell, and that'll let you know whenever I come out with a new industry video. That being said, I'm Saxawine. This is SC Haulers. Y'all have a good one. Love you. Bye.